Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. For today's video, what we're going to do is we are going into detail about Ohio's open carry and concealed carry laws. I guess you could say we're going to help people understand what is in Ohio's concealed carry law. Many of you may know, many of you may not know that in 2022, the state of Ohio passed a version of like a constitutional carry law. What this states is that you no longer need a permit to carry a firearm. It means that you no longer need to go to the government and ask for permission to conceal carry a firearm as long as you generally meet a few basic criteria. The reason that I want to make this video today is because apparently there's a lot of people confused about what is in Ohio law. They don't quite understand, and they're making some rather crazy and outlandish claims about this. The main person that I'm referring to is the mayor of Columbus, Ohio, Andrew Ginther. Mayor Andrew Ginther is the mayor of Columbus, Ohio, has been that way for a few years now. And I don't know, he sits in an interesting position. Violence in the city that he is in charge of has been exploding over the last few years. As a matter of fact, I don't have the article up in front of me, but just yesterday I saw an article that says that homicide across the country is down 10%. And they're trying to say why homicide and violent crime is down across the country. Meanwhile, in Columbus, Ohio, in 2023, homicides are actually up 25%. It's my belief that the reason that homicides are up in Columbus when they're actually down in other cities is because of the failed policies of Mayor Andrew Ginther. I've already made many videos about that in the past. I'm not going to get into that right now, but I want to get into his statements on Ohio law, what he is saying. And the fact of the matter is that the statements he's making about the Ohio law are not true. He is lying. He's just doing this to try to, well, he's trying to fool people that aren't smart enough to look into the law themselves. And he's doing it solely for political purposes. He knows in his heart, unless he's really that stupid, that the things he's proposing will not have an effect on violence. But here is what he's saying. He says, we have the most reckless and dangerous gun policies we've ever had in our state. It says Mayor Ginther outlined Columbus's ongoing fight with radicals in the state legislature who refuse to get out of our way. This says, watch the full interview there. So what he's saying is that Ohio law that does not require you to have a permit to carry concealed is the most reckless and dangerous gun policy in our state's history. So here's what I want to do is I want to go through the stipulations in Ohio law that allow you to carry a gun without a permit so that people can understand what the law is, better be educated, and they'll know that the mayor is lying about what it is that he's saying. So without further ado, I've gone over these in previous videos, but I want to do it as its own kind of standalone video. And I also want to use this demonstration or this list to go ahead and demonstrate that this and the mayor's proposals would not have an effect on the violence that we are seeing. You can't blame this for the violence, and you also can't attribute the things that he's trying to say will fix the violence either. I don't know. It'll make sense in a minute. So, in order to carry a weapon concealed in the state of Ohio without a permit, you must be 21 years of age. That's a pretty simple one. You must reside in the state for a minimum of 45 days. I don't know why that one is in there. You must not be under indictment, charged with, or convicted of any felony. So any felony, if you are charged with or convicted or under indictment of, you cannot carry a concealed handgun. You must not be a fugitive from justice, meaning if you have a warrant for your arrest and you're in possession of a firearm, that is another charge. It's going to be a carried and concealed weapon. It's a felony of third or fourth degree in the state of Ohio. I can't remember. Must not be convicted of resisting arrest within the last 10 years. So if 9 years ago you got really drunk and stupid, cop tried to arrest you for disorderly conduct and you resisted arrest, you are prohibited from carrying a concealed firearm without a permit in the state of Ohio. You must not be charged with or indicted of a violent misdemeanor offense within the previous 3 years. This one is particularly interesting because I don't think that this one would stand up to a challenge if it was taken to that level in the Supreme Court. You must not have been charged or indicted of a violent misdemeanor within the previous 3 years. It does not say convicted. So what this means is I'm going to use my neighbors, Jack and Jill. Let's say Jack and Jill get into a big ruckus fight one night. They're both drunk out of their minds, and one of them ate the last of the licorice, the black licorice M&Ms, jelly beans. Everybody knows that black licorice jelly beans are the best. And because of that, they're having a knockdown, drag out fight. Now, Jill, she's only 5'4", 115 pounds. Jack is 6'5", 270 pounds. Jill runs up to him and is just punching him with everything that she's got. She's mad. He ate the last of the jelly beans, of her favorite kind of jelly bean. She doesn't leave a mark on him, even though she was attacking him with every single bit of strength and effort that she could muster. Jack stands there and takes it for a minute, and he says, "You know what, Jill? I'm tired of you punching me. Get out of my face." Jack, who is 6'5", 270 pounds, takes Jill, who is punching him, and pushes her away. Jill is stupidly drunk. She trips over her feet. There's a desk there. She hits her head on the desk, splits herself open, requires stitches. Ambulance come. Police officers come. Jill gets taken to the hospital. Jack gets arrested and charged with domestic violence. When it's time for the court proceedings, Jill comes to court and says, "Your Honor, this is all my fault. I actually approached him. I was hitting him as hard as I could. He was simply trying to get me away from him. I was drunk. I stumbled. I cut my head. It was all just a big misunderstanding. We don't need any criminal charges. Just let us go home and be happy. We love each other." So the judge says, "Your wish is my command. This case is now dismissed." They both go home, but he has been charged or indicted for a violent misdemeanor offense within the previous 3 years. He's still not allowed to carry a concealed firearm. I believe that somebody, if they went through that kind of situation, has a valid challenge to this law, and I think that part of the law can be struck down. Carrying on. Not been convicted of negligent assault with a deadly weapon. So, you have your knowingly, recklessly, negligently. These are the stances of firing a weapon. So let's say a negligent one would be if I had a firearm here, I slammed it on the table, it went off and it shot somebody over there. That would be like a negligent discharge, negligent assault, anything from negligent all the way up to intentional. If you've committed any of those offenses, you cannot conceal carry a firearm. And then there's the same thing with a dangerous ordinance, which is just another definition of a different kind of firearm in the state of Ohio. Usually high capacity mags and stuff like that falls under dangerous ordinance. Not being charged or convicted or under indictment of any drug related offense. So if you have been charged with or convicted or indicted for any drug related offense, you are not allowed to carry concealed in the state of Ohio. Not been found mentally incompetent or defective, and you do not have a protection order against you in any state. So here are about a dozen rules in the state of Ohio that prohibit you from owning a firearm or from carrying a concealed firearm. This is the law that Mayor Andrew Ginther right here is calling the most reckless and dangerous gun policy we've ever seen in our state's history. I'll leave his face up again. So his proposal is that we need universal background checks, red flag laws, a bump stock ban, and a ban on automatic weapons, which if you follow him on social media, he uses automatic and assault weapons interchangeably, although they are two very different things. An automatic weapon is you pull the trigger, you hold the trigger down, a bunch of bullets come out. What they're calling an assault weapon, I still got mine over here. This is what they're calling assault weapon. Traditionally speaking, a black weapon with a pistol grip, muzzle brake or something on the end, and a short stock or collapsible stock. This is what they call an assault rifle. If it didn't have this on it, it didn't have this on it, and the stock was fixed at the end, it would no longer be considered an assault rifle by their standards. But they think that these are the things that need to be banned. And if those things are banned, we will have less homicide and murder in the state of Ohio. He's saying since the state of Ohio doesn't ban those things and has this reckless and dangerous gun policy, we now have violence. He's saying that is the reason that his state has more violence, or his city has more violence than what other cities are seeing in the country. Here's what I did. I went on Facebook and I found a couple of recent homicides in the city of Columbus. This is a man that has a warrant currently for his arrest for homicide. These two guys, Evan Jones and Jermaine Johnson, were both recently arrested for homicide. I've closed out the one guy's case. I'll go ahead and tell you here that this guy, Miles Gibson, he just murdered his girlfriend yesterday. The time of recording is June the 6th, 2023. This incident occurred on June the 5th, 2023. I looked up Miles Gibson. He doesn't really have a criminal history. The only criminal offense that I saw that would prevent him from owning a firearm under any circumstance was a burglary that he was charged with in August of 2021, and that case has not yet gone to trial. So let's look at Mayor Andrew Ginther's solution to the gun violence and see if it would have stopped him from having a firearm. Universal background check. If you've been charged with a crime in 2021, but you have not yet been adjudicated, I'm pretty sure you would still pass a background check. So he wouldn't have been able to done a private purchase, I guess. It wouldn't have mattered. He could have gone to any gun store in the state of Ohio, bought a firearm, and he would have passed, even with Mayor Andrew Ginther's proposed changes to the law. Red flag laws. There's no indication that, he was incapacitated mentally and not able to have a firearm. Bump stocks. It was a single round. It's in the write-up that you can't quite see on this thing here. Shot his girlfriend in the chest with a single round. No indication that a bump stock was used. Also, automatic weapon. He didn't use an automatic weapon. Now, let's look at Ohio state law. And I want to bring your attention down here. Not be under indictment or charged with or convicted of a felony. This guy right here is currently under indictment for a felony. It's a felony 2 count of burglary. It's the second highest degree felony that you can have in the state of Ohio. Under Ohio law, he is prohibited from having a firearm. So according to Mayor Andrew Ginther, we have the most reckless and dangerous gun policy we've ever had in our state's history. But that reckless gun policy would not have stopped him, or it would have actually prevented him from having a firearm had he been following the law. The next one, we have these two guys, and I realize that you can't quite see. I can do this. We have Evan Jones and Jermaine Johnson. I looked them up as well. Let's see. Jermaine Johnson in 2028 pled guilty to possession of drugs. Therefore, he is not allowed to have a firearm. Let's see. In 2013, he was convicted of carrying a concealed weapon and improper handling of a firearm. He pled guilty to the indictment. That means he has pled guilty and convicted of a felony. Under state law in Ohio, he was not allowed to have a firearm. The next one is, let's see, I already did Jermaine Johnson, is Evan Jones. Evan Jones, let's see. What crimes does he have? Oh, he is under indictment for trafficking of drugs, improper handling of a firearm, weapons under disability, and hidden compartments in a motor vehicle. So these are all counts that have not been adjudicated, because here it says plea of not guilty. He does have a charge of weapons under disability, which means that he was prohibited from owning a firearm in the state of Ohio, but that didn't stop him. So he got charged again. So I'll get out of the way again. Oh, he's over here. Mr. Evan Jones, who committed a murder, he was also prohibited under state law from owning a firearm. He was already prohibited from owning a firearm in the state of Ohio. There's no indication that the mayor, I'll put his face up again, and his demand for universal background checks, red flag laws, bump stock ban, or automatic weapons ban would have stopped these two guys from owning a firearm, or stop this guy from possessing a firearm. The reason being is because the people who are out committing these crimes don't follow the law. This guy in particular, who has already been charged with weapons under disability, went out and committed murder. He wasn't allowed to have a firearm, but he still had one. Your laws don't stop these people from getting their guns. They don't stop them from committing murder with their guns. One thing that might have an impact on violent crime in your city is constantly degrading your police department, eroding respect for the rule of law, encouraging police officers to retire early, and saying that you need 100 police officers to retire early because you need to change the face of the department, implying that the police department of your city is bad. You spent a lot of time implying that the police officers were bad and saying that we need to find alternative ways to stop crime other than the police. And the response to that has been an explosion in violent crime. You now are attacking the state of Ohio, the state legislator, and this law for not being restrictive enough. But the fact of the matter is it's actually more restrictive than the things that you are demanding. So I don't know if I lost any of you there. I tried to get the important information about state law done in the beginning. If you just Google Ohio Concealed Carry Law 2023, you'll get multiple resources just like this list. So you will know who is and who is not permitted to carry a firearm in the state of Ohio, and you can make educated decisions for your own. I think that's all I'm going to say today. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later.